Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1842A, and today's date is April 15th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Trump Boxed in the Fed, Controls the Economic Narrative, Next, Central Bank Panic. Now, we know that Robert Mueller has been investigating Donald Trump for over 2 years now, and has concluded that there is no case to answer on his colluding with Russia during his election campaign. Given that news, you would expect the markets to have soared. Instead, they've reacted by tanking, and there's nothing the markets hate more than political uncertainty. Now is not a good time to be fully committed to stocks. Gold has rallied along with silver this year, and it might be time to think about putting some of your money into precious metals. If you call Noble Gold, you can speak to one of their advisors about the pros and cons of buying precious metals. So click the link below to get your free gold IRA guide, or just call 877-646-5347 and make sure to mention X22 Report to get the free gold investment guide. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the central banks, they're beginning to panic because Trump has now boxed them in. They're completely exposed, and they don't know how to get out of this. And you can see they're trying everything possible. They don't have their players on board to help them out because they always need their players to create something like an event which would cover up their entire collapse of the central bank system. They don't have that now. And what Trump has done at this point is he's turned everything around where the economy looks absolutely amazing on paper. It looks incredible. And the central banks, they're nervous. Now, what's very interesting is that during the time when Bitcoin was rising and everything like that, Christine Lagarde was out there saying, oh, Bitcoin, it's used by terrorists. Oh, Bitcoin is no good. Criminals use it. They use it for ransom. Bitcoin is no good. And they continually push the narrative that cryptocurrencies are very, very bad, and bad people use them. And this is how you know it's a good thing. When Bernanke was out there saying that, gold, it's a barbarous relic. We just keep it in storage because it's historical. That that's the real money. You know that whatever they're saying, think mirror. Now, what's very interesting is the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they're launching their own blockchain and digital currency to familiarize staff with the concepts. Now, the currency will only be accessible within the organization. Will not be able to buy real-world goods and services. They're going to create a mini world, and they're going to use it in this mini world, and they're going to try to figure out how it actually works. It's called a learning coin, and they're going to use it for educational purposes. Really? Or are they going to use it to try to figure out how to take control of another cryptocurrency? I don't believe that they're trying to figure out how it works and familiarize their staff on it. I believe they're setting up a lab. So when the time comes and cryptocurrencies are introduced, they have the ability to take it over. Because Christine Lagarde, she said something very interesting, that cryptocurrencies were clearly shaking the system, which means cryptocurrencies was shaking their systems. Now, we know that Trump is out there and he's pushing 5G. Now, does everyone need 5G? Do you need your internet faster? No, we have speeds that are pretty darn fast right now. Can we give 4G to the Midwest? Of course we can. Why in the world would he need 5G? Well, it supports the blockchain. And I believe this is the direction he's going in. And I think the central bankers, they're starting to realize what's going on. Remember, they demonized gold, they demonized silver, they demonized cryptocurrency, and now they're trying to learn about it. And they hold gold, and the central banks around the world, they're buying as much gold as possible. Think about what's going on right now. They're telling you to do one thing, and they're doing another. Now, Trump's top economist, Kevin Hassett, he's out there saying, listen, disposable income went up $2,300 per individual in 2018. Expect a 3% growth for the next 5 years. The economy is fantastic. Actually, Trump was out there and he's saying, holy crap, I'm reading the New York Times. And the headline says, face it, you probably got a tax cut. Now, most people did get a tax cut. Most people have more money in their pockets. And Trump was saying, listen, I didn't read the rest of the article because most of it's crap, but it can't believe the very fake New York Times is giving a positive spin on the tax cut report. And we see that Trump right now, he controls the narrative. He controls the economy. He controls the central bank. And there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, Trump is out there, and we discussed this before. He's saying, listen, the stock market would be much, much higher today if the Federal Reserve didn't try to tighten, if they didn't lower rates, if they didn't do any of this. Maybe they could lower rates once again, and this way we can have a booming economy. Think about what Trump has done in this short period of time. I know a lot of people think, oh my God, it's taking forever. Everything's not going the way we want it to go. Actually, how long has he been in office? 2.5 years. This is going on his 3rd year. That's it. Think about how long the central bank, how long the deep state has been in power. He defeated them in 2 years, 2.5 years, where he was able to control the narrative of the entire economic system. Think about that for a second. Think about what he accomplished. He is dictating to the Federal Reserve, to the mainstream media, to the deep state of what he wants. And the rest of the central banks, they're sitting there completely exposed. He stripped them of their protection. They are no longer protected. The deep state is not doing their dirty work right now. Because at this point, if Trump was not in the president's seat, we would have a major, major event that would have brought us to war, which would cover up this entire economic system falling apart. Now remember, the central bank always wants all eyes off of them. And there's no way to fix this system that we're in. The only thing that we can do at this point, and Trump is doing it, is rebuild what the central bankers, what the deep state has stripped us of. They stripped us of companies. They stripped us of manufacturing. They stripped us of sound money. They stripped us of the gold standard. They stripped us of being independent and not dependent on the government. And they enslaved us to their system. Trump right now is undoing all of this. The Fed right now has ended their balance sheet reductions. They are not raising rates. Most likely, they might even lower rates. The ECB, they're holding steady. The IMF, they're worried. The Biz, they're worried. They're all worried because they know that the debt level around the world cannot be sustained. They know if the system comes down, they will be blamed. I mean, think about what is happening right now. We have bubbles all over the place. Bubbles in the junk bond market, bubbles in the stock market, bubbles in the housing market. And the Fed, they were going to pop them. They were going to use the crisis in their favor. They can't do that right now. So what do we have happening? We have a slow and steady decline. And when you have a slow and steady decline, and this is from Charles Hugh Smith, he wrote an article about this, you have credit exhaustion. The central bank solution to runaway credit expansion that flowed into malinvestment was to lower interest rates to zero, enable tens of trillions in new debt. As a result, a global debt has skyrocketed from 84 trillion to 250 trillion. Debt in China has blasted from 7 trillion in 2008 to 40 trillion in 2018. What is Trump doing right now? He wants the Federal Reserve to stop tightening, which they did, and he wants them to lower the interest rates and start the stimulus because he wants credit exhaustion. He wins no matter which way he goes. Think about it. I'm telling the Federal Reserve to lower rates. The stock market goes up, everything looks great. Now, if everything backfires, he can say, the Federal Reserve is in control. Why are they listening to me? They're the ones who decided to do this. Think about the control he has and what he can use against them. And what he's going to do, he's going to exhaust this economy and then blame it on the Fed. And you can see that he's trying to do this in a slow, methodical way because he doesn't want to pop the bubbles because everything would come crashing down. He wants this to be slow, methodical, so while this system is chugging along, he can continue to bring back corporations. He can continue to bring back manufacturing. He can continue to do all of this because the Fed, they will have no choice but to do what he's saying. He's exposing them in so many ways that they have no place to go. And he's controlling what they do. And if anything messes up, hey, I had the economy booming. They decided to do this. I'm not in control of the Fed. They're independent, remember? So right now, Trump has complete and utter control of the system. Or, as we like to say, he has the magic wand. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.